All children are born geniuses, and we spend the first 6 years of their lives degeniusing them. R. Buckminster Fuller. I'm not quite sure if degeniusing is actually a word, but the word genius means exceptional intellectual or creative power or other natural ability, seemingly with an emphasis on intellect. But let's look at the history of the word genius from Latin geniere, which means to be the father of, beget. The Romans believed that everyone was born with this guardian spirit that was here to protect the person's character, and that each person had an individual character and natural ability. By that definition, I firmly believe that yes, every child is born a genius with their very own personal, individual character and natural ability. Unfortunately, we as parents and teachers and caregivers spend a lot of time trying to mold our children into what we think they should be, rather than allowing them to be the genius that they are. I've spent the past 20 years trying to figure out how we can provide our children with the ideal environment to enable them to express and develop that genius. For 10 years before that, I was working on trying to find my own genius, which, like most of you, was hidden and driven out of me at a very young age. I've brought all my work and experience together in this workshop called Becoming Efficient Learners, a neurodevelopmental approach to learning. The reason I named it that is because no matter where a child is on the assessment chart, whether they are straight A students or SEN students or anything in between, every single one of them has the potential to learn. In fact, we can't stop them from learning. It's intrinsic. They are going to do it whether we support them or not. It is what they learn that matters. Will they learn that they are stupid because they don't get high grades? Will they learn that whether they try hard or not, they're still always in trouble? Will they learn that their passion for art or dance will never be good enough because they're rubbish at math? Or will they learn that they have an extraordinary genius, a skill or ability that is only theirs and that the world needs to know about? My approach to learning is a neurodevelopmental approach that doesn't just include the physical brain, but the entire body. Also, the psychology of the student and their spirit. And when I say spirit, I don't mean spirituality as such. I mean the spirit of the individual, the actual person inside, their character and their essence, who they are as individuals and how they connect with the world. If you are a parent of more than one child, or if you work with more than one child, you'll know that no matter how consistent your input is, there is always a different output because each child is different. I've divided the workshop into 4 parts: introduction, body, mind, and spirit. In the introduction, I will share with you my story. The reason I do that is that I want you to understand that I am coming from the perspective of the student that is not as successful as they could be in school. I don't say that school failed me. I think of it more that school misunderstood me. Then I'll explain the systems approach and how we must look at all the systems at play in a child's life if we are to provide them with an environment that is conducive to efficient learning. And we look at the triangle of success, how we all need to work together, parents, teachers, and students, to be successful. In the body, we'll talk about the brain, what is helpful for us as parents and teachers to know, and what we can happily leave to the neuroscientists. We'll also look at the building blocks of efficient learning. We all know about the developmental milestones, rolling over, walking, talking, etc. Here we'll talk about the gaps in development and how they can interfere with the learning process. Also, how specific movement can fill in those gaps and unlock learning. We'll also talk about environmental offenders, how certain simple things in the environment can prevent children from focusing on the lesson at hand. I will then show you how to identify your child's and your own learning profile and why it's helpful for you and your child to know about that. In the mind, we'll look at the conscious and the unconscious mind and why it matters to the learning process. And we'll touch on trauma, what it is exactly and its effects on learning, and a little about anxiety. As shocking as it is, so many children are suffering from anxiety these days, which can, again, interrupt the learning process. Then we'll move on to the specific movement activities that can support the integration of all of the above. We will end on spirit, because no matter what grade a child gets or whether they are good at sports or not isn't as important as how they feel about themselves and how they connect with the world around them. We'll look at the 6 core human needs, which is a bit of a twist on the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and we'll talk about connectivity and the value of being acutely aware of our feelings and emotions. As part of this workshop, you will be invited to join our Facebook community so you can ask questions and share your own experiences with other members. So please look for the link and request access. I'm really looking forward to supporting you with the enormously important task of raising and educating our children. Next up, my story.